Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking. Welcome back to Passionately Speaking, our weekly call where we talk about public speaking and how we can use it to make money and help people and change lives. And today we're going to talk about how to grow our business with public speaking. And that's what most people want to do with public speaking. That's my sweet spot. That's what I teach people how to leverage themselves, how to get clients, how to generate leads, referrals, and grow your business with public speaking. And we're going to talk about that specifically today, how to do it from the stage. But I want to just remind you that when we talk about leveraging the stage, we're talking about opportunity here. We're not talking about, just get visibility to get leads. I mean, I've taught that a lot. You've got to be visible to get leads. You've got to be visible. But it's more than that when you step on stage. It's not just being here I am, this is what I do kind of thing that's going to bring you the multitude of clients. Okay. So it's something that you have to think about before, during, and after. So it's not like about showing up, here I am, but it's developing that speech, thinking about how are you going to develop it so that it'll attract clients. And we do a lot of that work when we do your signature talk. And we develop your signature talk in my either 4-day training class or my mastermind. And the mastermind, by the way, is coming up in September for those of you that are interested in going to Puerto Vallarta and becoming an international speaker. So that is coming up September 15th through the 21st. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more as we go. But if you have some interest, let me know. But that is where we actually do this kind of training where we break it down. But for those of you that are ready to go now or have already been through that training, you can, jot down these notes. But it's before, during, and after. So we want to go, okay, how do we develop the speech? How do we deliver that speech? And then what is our close? That's the after. Hello, Dr. Renee. Welcome. All right, so number one, before, which is very, very important, before, we have to set up our speech to win. We have to set it up. This is not a speech to inform. It's not a speech to entertain. We're not performing. Now, there's other speeches that we do, and we are doing all that. But if you want to grow your business, if you want to sell from the stage, that will kill you. All those things will kill you. Now, do you bring a little bit in? Of course we do, but it can't be a performance. I saw a guy one time on my stage. He was a comedian, and he was selling a comedian class because funny equals money. We've all heard that. Funny equals money. If you can be a little funny when you deliver your content, that is going to go over a lot bigger. Go over, sell more? No, it keeps attention, right? Being funny keeps your audience's attention. It's a great attention keeper, attention grabber, and attention keeper. It's not the only one, but it's a great way to grab that attention. It's not a great way to sell. Not saying that. So in your middle, you can be funny, but then when it comes down to the close, zip it. And this guy didn't do that. And he did his close, and then he was, tried to do some more funny things and audience participation things, and it fell flat. He didn't sell one thing. And he was very surprised that he didn't sell anything. And I told him afterwards, I coached him and told him exactly what happened. When you do the close is what? It's
The close.
close. Right, Carol. It's it. That's it. That's the close. Okay, thank you. Okay, so before you begin, we want to set it all up, right? Now, most speakers show up and then they throw up, right? They just kind of show up, speak, some ramble. They have not really set the intention of what they wanted out of the speech. They just want to get it over with, deliver it and get it over with, phew, that kind of thing. And that's fine if you don't want to sell something. That's fine if you don't want to use it to grow your business. If you're just like practicing on your audience, okay. But most of us really want, want our speech to matter. We want to change lives. And the only way we can change lives is if we sell our services to somebody and work with them, for a longer time. We can't change lives in 30 minutes. I'm sorry. We are not God, right? We're not Houdini. We're not some magic force there. We need more time with people. So we need to first set up. So, how do you do this? Number one, now this is one, so I'm going to say A, all right? Define the outcome that you want. And I know you think about this, but most people don't. They say, yeah, I'm going to sell my coaching services at the end. But do you say how many coaching services you're going to sell? How many of you really said, I'm going to sell 10 packages of my services or whatever it is, right? How many of you set that intention? I have, and when I do, I get it. When I don't, when I forget or I get busy or I just forget to do that as I'm developing my speech, it's willy-nilly. I might get 2, I might get 5, I might get whatever, right? But when I set the intention, when I first write that speech, it happens. That's the power, right? The power of positive thought, the power of intention, whatever you want to call it, magnetism. All right, so define the outcome. How many books do you want to sell? How many calls do you want people to sign up for? How many coaching sessions do you want them to get? How are you going to grow your list? By how many? Numbers are important here when you set your intention. It's not just, I'm going to sell a bunch of books. No, how many? 50 books or 20 books? Right? Are you going to have 5 people sign up for your calendar or only 1? Now, this is where people, and I'm guilty too, that's that's what I'm going to put out there. I'm going to get people to sign up for a strategy session and I'll close them on the strategy session. But I often forget how many strategy sessions do I want, right? So again, it'll be willy-nilly. When you set that outcome, you know what you're going to get. And the whatever else you get is gravy, it's candy, it's, whatever, chocolate, it's extra. But set that intention and you will know you will get it. So that's number 1, or that's A. Define the outcome. B, know your audience's pain points. Know your audience's pain points. Speak to the problems that you solve. Not to the problem. Yes, we do problem, pain, and suffering, but we set that up. That's a setup that we're saying we understand their pain point. But the whole time we're delivering our content, we need to speak to the pain point as if this item, right, this letter is solving that problem. And not everybody does that, right? I've listened to you. Not all of it does that. We set up problem, pain, and suffering. That is saying, okay, audience, this is your pain point. But then when you do your acronym, right, love or whatever it is, each one of those has to be a solution to that pain point. That's how you do it when you want to sell. If you're not going to sell anything, you could put information in there. And that's what people tend to do. Just great information. Here's your problem, and I'm going to give you some information. Not necessarily the solution. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's different if you want to sell from the platform and use it to get business and grow your business. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, C. Create a lead magnet. Now, most of you, everybody knows what a lead magnet is, right? Okay, Dr. Renee, tell everybody what a lead magnet is.
Okay, a lead magnet could be something like offering something at the very end that you gather their information, and when you want this this ebook, I can give that to you at the end of the event. Put your name and number and your email address, and you'll get the ebook as a PDF in your email when you get home, or something like that. or a
Very
gift basket, or a gift basket, or an opportunity to win something, opportunity to win an event with you, or a discovery call with you, but not discovery call, something else that's kinder one-on-one with you.
perfect. Okay, great job. The key here, if you listen, it is a freebie. Everything she mentioned was free. That's what a lead magnet is. A freebie that is tied directly to your talk, right? So what works well is a free article. If you're talking about health and fitness, you want to give them an article on health and fitness. You don't want to give them an article on, whatever, computer stuff. It's got to be tied to the talk. All right. So it's anything for free. Anything for free. That they give you the information, you give them the freebie. That's a lead magnet. Why is it a lead magnet? Because now you have their information and you can call them. It's a warm lead because they've heard you talk. So now you can follow up. Most people don't follow up. 1% follow up. And I know I'm guilty as charged, right? You get busy after the talk, and then a couple of days go by, and then you go, oh, you rationalize. Because guess what? No one likes to pick up the phone. No one likes to pick up the phone, right? And no one likes to answer the phone anymore, right? In this day and age, it's like no one wants to answer the phone. So it's tough, but it works. Okay. Now, D, pre-promote yourself. Pre-promote yourself. So, yes, we can pre-promote to our email list, to social media, but what about if you could get the organization that you're going to speak out to promote you more than normal? All right. So for instance, they're going to send out maybe one email, maybe one text, maybe one they're going to speak about it at one meeting and that's you're the next meeting, whatever. But what if you called them and say, hey, this is really hot. I'm going to teach them how to make money. I'm going to teach them how to make $1 million. I'm going to teach them how to communicate with their kids. I'm going to teach them how to save their marriage. I mean, whatever it is problem you solve, and just say, make it important and convince them that it's worthy for them to send out an extra text, an extra email, or both, right? Pre-promote yourself. Don't just let them promote it. A lot of speakers, what they do is they'll say online that they're going to speak at this organization, and it promotes the organization. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. I once had a speaker, I asked him to promote my event that he was speaking at. And he said, why would he want to do that? Why would he want his client? And it's somebody Dr. Love knows, so I won't mention the name. But why would he want me to, and it wasn't our beloved mentor, not him, somebody else. But why would he want to promote my event to get his clients to my event and lose possibly his clients to all the other speakers? It was a multi-speaker event, you know? And when I heard that, I never invited him on my stage again. I just said, oh, okay. And then whenever I was on somebody else's stage, I made sure that wasn't my attitude, that I would promote that event for that person. I would share it with my people. It's up to my people if they want to work with those people or not, right? It's not up to me. It's up to me. Just open the door and whoever walks through, right? So don't be afraid to promote somebody else's event because your list might not even be for them. Like I could promote Katrina's event easily, why, wives, I know very few people that are, couples anymore. And it's not going to hurt me to promote it, right? I mean, it's silly. So don't be afraid to do that. and use your own social media and everything else that you've built as well. What you have to do here, what I'm talking about, is building demand before you speak, right? Building the demand before you speak. And that way, when you get step on that stage, you're not stepping on a cold stage, right? Think about it. You're all of a sudden you're in all the social media, everybody sees you. It's like what's happening right now on Instagram and Facebook. What is the number one thing that everybody is advertising and everybody is seeing right now?
Can I share? Can I share something, Arvee? What I'm
No, just
seeing?
answer the
Okay, so
question.
are you talking about the person or an event?
Okay, let me just add. Let
Because
me
I
just
it was
add.
Jeremy Minor. I see him on everything. A sales
No,
coach. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no, no, no. I'm
Okay.
more of an event, and that is the
Oh,
devil wears
oh
Prada
yeah.
too.
Huh. I was gonna say
Right?
that too. Yeah.
Is everybody seeing it on social media? This
Everything.
media?
Everything.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw the movie the first time last night.
Good. I'm going to see it Saturday, so don't tell me what it's like. Um, but the key is they've got money to promote it, right? They've got tons of money to promote it. Everywhere you look, there it is. We've got the Met Gala, we've got the movie, we've got clips from the movie. Why can't you do that too? Do little clips of your speech and put it everywhere. Yeah, we don't have millions that we can pay for sponsors, but if you've got some time, you don't have to put the whole shebang up there. Just put a little clip. Here's what I'm going to talk about. Here's a tip. Or just do what they do, film a little piece of it and stick it in there that builds curiosity. You know, follow what people are doing on Instagram and Facebook and mock that. Anything you like, the guy that you see, you must be tied somehow to that guy so that you see his stuff because I've never seen it. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Was there something else, Dr. Renee, that you wanted to share?
Yeah,
Dr.
Jeremy Minor is up there with Jeffrey Gitomer. These are for sales coaches, and I was thinking of looking at the book for $27. He's promoting as a hardcover, so I pressed it, and then now I'm getting lots of it, and so
Oh,
not so much. I mean, the Devil Wears Prada because I'm about fashion and things like that. You could probably tell a little bit, but the Met Gala, I saw that last night. It was off the top. First time I went on YouTube intentionally to go on YouTube to watch it because I couldn't find it on the TV. And I did it by myself. I didn't have to ask my husband. This is a miracle. God works in mysterious ways. I couldn't believe I saw it. So, anyways, thank you.
good.
It was phenomenal. It was over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing plenty of it on social media
Oh,
now.
good. Okay. All right.
Okay. But the key is you want to be everywhere and seen over and over again. So pre-promote yourself ahead of time. Hi, Jackie. How you doing?
Hi, Arvee. Awesome and amazing. Thank you.
Good to see you. Jackie and I had lunch yesterday with her and her husband and her dog Rebel, and right here in Upland, and it was so wonderful to see Jackie and her husband and hug them, and it was so. I just felt so blessed. Thank you again, Jackie, for reaching
Oh,
out.
thank you. We just had a great time too.
Yeah, good, 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 good.
When you're virtual all the time, it's hugs are good.
Yeah, hugs are good. Okay, so next time Rebel needs a visit, please call me.
Okay,
Okay,
you got it.
maybe we'll get Dawn to come. Maybe if she's not working too hard, she can come and join us too.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, and even Katrina's around here somewhere. She's in Pomona. She's close by. Katrina, maybe you could come too. Are you with us? Nope. Okay, that was a
Jackie,
great.
my grandmother's when I was growing up, when I was little, my grandmother's dog was named Rebel.
Uh,
Uh, well,
Brings
this
back memories. Is
this
a little
dog is
poodle.
this dog is anything but a rebel. She's just a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to number two now. Okay, so that was all number one. And Jackie, just to bring you up to speed, number one was things to do before the stage, set up the win. set up the win. So it's A is define your outcome. B is know your pain points. C is create a lead magnet. And D is promote yourself. And that's just what we were talking about. Okay, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So number two, on stage, speak to convert, not to impress. Right? Speak to convert, not to impress. Okay. So this is where most people lose the money because they perform and it's easy to do, the lights come on and bam, right? We get into performance mode, but you you want to make sure you're positioning yourself and not performing. So here's what I mean. So you want to so A is you want to talk about the problem, right? Again, we talked about setting it up. We're talking about the problem, and that is their pain point. Make sure they know it's real. Make sure you show that you understand their problem. You have empathy for them. You've been there before. You know what it feels like, and that you're convincing. That you're not just saying that. Okay. And then talk about the possibilities, show them what they can achieve, right? Problem, pain, and suffering. You know what it's like, right? And now here's the solution. Here's the possibility. Here's what could happen if they got rid of that pain, right? This is the possibilities. And then provide proof. So these are what I call the 4 Ps: problem, possibility, proof, and then path. So proof is maybe you've been there, you tell a little story about, like when I say I was not a good speaker and then I got trained, I was, horrible on stage and then I got trained. And then next time I went out, this happened, that happened. And then all of a sudden I got clients and now here I am today. It's like that. We all have that kind of a journey, whether it's financial planning that Tanya does, whether it's talking and communicating to children, whether it's environmental, whatever it is, we see the path. We know that there's a problem, but show them the possibilities. See, most people, I'm going to tell you, when they do their content, they don't talk about problems. They don't talk about possibilities. All they do is teach. Teach, teach, teach. Guilty as charged for a long time. Teaching does not get you clients. You teach after you have the client, like I'm doing now. You teach after you got the client. Before you get the client, you just let them know you know their pain and suffering. You have a solution. Here's the benefits. I call it benefits, but I'm calling it possibilities now. But here's the benefits of getting over that problem. Here's what life could be like. Here's what you could enjoy. All those words you could use. And then how do you get there? What are a few simple steps that they need to do or changes that they need to make? If we're talking about what Jackie does, in their health, just a few simple things that they have to change to get on that road, to get on the path of recovery or the path back to marriage that they've always wanted. Okay, so 4 P's: problem, possibility, which is what I call benefits in the problem, pain, and suffering model, but it didn't start with a P, so I had to get a P. So possibilities, and then proof, which I talk as the solution in my other formula, and then path. This is how to get them on the road to recovery. So problem, possibility, proof, and path. Got it? When
Got it.
when I say got it, you say got it, I say good.
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
Good. Good. All right. Now, that is okay, so that's A. B is authority builders. Now these you want to make sure you're telling strategic stories, not just any old story, not random stories, but strategic stories about your client's success that sets them up. I mean, where that your clients can, that your audience can relate to. So, for instance, they've got, most of the time I say you could tell the same story over and over again, but that depends on the audience. Now, my audience is typically the same. So they're business owners, which is kind of broad. They're all different kinds of walks of life. But if my client, if I'm a mortgage broker and my clients are real estate professionals, because I want them to know me so they will give me the client, right? Then I've got to tailor the talk, and it's got to be a testimonial about other real estate brokers. Got it? Katrina,
Got it.
thank you. Katrina's got to talk about, men and women that she's got together. Tanya, you got to talk about the financial end and how, all those stories have to do with, and they don't have to, well, they all have to be your clients, but they don't, they have to be stories that about the possibilities and the success and where they are now as a result of working with you. And the stories will, the stories, do I have a message here? Something popped up. And the story will sell itself. It will sell your products and services. So strategic, meaning I think strategic means to purposely pick the right stories for the right audience to say whatever it is you want to sell. You could have several for, let's say, the real estate market, but only a few that deal with maybe the actual brokers, or maybe it's homeowners, or maybe it's financial planners, or whatever group that is that you're in front of, the majority of the group, and you want that group. That's what you need to be strategic about and tailor your stories about. All right. Now, use specific results, meaning, again, here we are back to numbers. Remember, I said the outcomes, you have to be a number. Have to be a number. Otherwise, it's willy-nilly. You have to, I want 10 clients out of this, or I want, you know, 12 calendar signups. Be clear. Same here, right? When you talk about this client, when you talk about the testimonial, use numbers. They've increased, like I have a mortgage, a reverse mortgage lender, and she always tells people that she's increased her income 43.5% after working with me. But 43% is huge. That's almost 50%, right? That makes a difference than if she just said, oh, my business doubled, or oh, my business grew. So pick a number. Make sure that number's odd, because odd numbers are more believable than even numbers. So make sure it's an odd number. Don't round it up. I mean, use whatever number it truly is, but oh, it's, I could have said, oh, it's 44%. It doesn't sound as believable as 43.5%. So just know that, or 43% even. So give it a number. Give it a number in. Don't be afraid of doing that. If you have to talk to your clients, say, listen, can I use you? Can I talk about you? A lot of them will say yes. Some of them might say yes, but don't use my name. So you call them Bob or Mary, right? That's not important, their name. What's important is how their business grew, how much, right? In how many days. So I say often, I'll help you double your business in 3 months or less. So you could do that, but it's got to have numbers on it. 3 months being odd, an odd number, right? Okay, let's see. The last one is drop credibility anchors. Credibility anchors. What is that? That's oftentimes I'll say, yeah, yeah, that wasn't good English. Yeah. That's the jet lag. I'll blame it all on jet lag. I'll say, yes, I've shared the stage with Les Brown. I've shared the stage with Mark Victor Hansen. Now nobody knows who he is. It's so long ago, right? You have to use current people that people know. But maybe you can drop an anchor. As a real estate professional, I studied with Ramsey, right? He's like a big guy in real estate. Whatever your anchor in your industry might be, use it if you have it. But just something, and it can be a client, it can be experience, it can be results, and it just kind of anchors everything. Be careful, make sure it's believable, make sure it's true. I know people have introduced themselves. I had a sales guy one time introduce himself, and he just said something like, he's Jackie, you'll get a kick out of this. He's at a CBP meeting, right? A CBP meeting. That's Christian Business Partners. Small groups typically. This was a really big meeting. We must have had 25 people there. And first thing out of his mouth is, "Oh, I work with millionaires." And I thought to myself, I looked around, I thought to myself, I didn't say anything, but I thought, you're not going to find any here. If you work with millionaires, why aren't you, in Beverly Hills or whatever? But, whatever. He was at the same IHOP that I was at, looking for business just like me. But it did put me off a little bit. I'm like, but it was funny. Anyway, so be careful of that when you're anchoring, and trying to name names that you're not too, that you don't set yourself too far away. Okay. C, on call. So this is about your call to action, on your call to action. And this is everything, ladies. This is everything. Most speakers might follow, like if you said something like, um, like if you said something, I'm trying to think of a good example, but if you're on stage, now remember, call to action, the close. We've talked a lot about the close, and I've told you that if you give your website, www, um, you're not going to call me anyway, right? It's ineffective. Well, now what people are doing is they're telling from the stage to follow them on Instagram. How many of you have heard that? Follow me on Instagram, right? I mean, they're not going to do it. That's weak. Follow me on Instagram, and you might have an Instagram name. No, that's not a proactive way to do it. That's not what people want, right? Instead, give them like, and Dr. Love was mentioning some things, but this is where the freebie will often go in. See, if you say, here's my website, here's Instagram, follow me. Here's my LinkedIn, follow me. You're actually pushing them away instead of bringing them in. That's the problem with that. Very few people will ever do that. I don't want to say nobody, but very few. But if you say, text this number, and we've seen that as very effective. I've done it from stage. You have it up on a PowerPoint, or you could put it in your Zoom. Text this number and say, howdy or whatever you want to say, right? And then you'll get an automatic something. For me, I just say you'll get in my text list, and you'll get weekly public speaking tips. Boom. We all do it from the stage together. I say, take out your phone, text this number, 71313, and type in, passion or something. Boom. I just to have them type in my name. But you can have a word, you can have your name, you can have anything. But as long as you have a text list that you've paid for on your back end. But it gets them to go to you, and now they're in your list, and you've just built your database. And you've promised them what? The freebie. Free public speaking tips, free health tips, free communication tips, whatever it is you offer, free love tips. Another one, and we're seeing a lot of this, of course, and that is scan the QR code. Now, ladies, if you're going to do this, I recommend you do two things. Leave it up there. Leave it up there for a long time. I see people that put it up there and zoom. Then they go to the next slide. Keep it up there. But what I really recommend you do is have something else that you're giving them with it on. Okay, so you can be clever. Here, let me give you an example. Okay? It could be some sort of postcard. Yeah, you can have your little like postcards with it. But look at this. This is like for my store event, and it's a QR code, and it's a bookmark. Now, who's not going to keep the book? We can always use bookmarks, right? Right? And so here's the QR code right on there. Boom. You could reference it. Here it is on stage if you do have a PowerPoint, but most places we speak at, we don't even get PowerPoint. We don't even have time. What if you handed these out ahead of time? And then ahead of time, hello. And then during this close, you reference it. Oh, by the way, I gave you a bookmark. We can always use bookmarks, right? And this one's about butterflies. And it says so little, but butterflies, they can't see how beautiful their wings are, but everyone else can. It happens during their transformation and allows them to soar. Oh, by the way, I have a mastermind called Soar. Blah, 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 right? And to get more information, now this is a link to my calendar because I don't want just anybody signing up for it. They can't just sign it. You can't just go in my website and pay for it and boom. You have to be interviewed. So who just left me? Tanya? No, Tanya's there. Oh, Dr. Love. Okay. Anyway, so you could use any kind of QR code. They're free nowadays. Remember the old days? We had to pay for it. So they're all free now. Any idea like that? Postcards, flyers, bookmarks. I like the bookmark because it's tiny. It feels like a gift more than a marketing. If you just do something, some flyer or something, might end up in the trash. Okay. And that doesn't help you. All right. Another one is you could give them links to download free training. Again, this is your freebie, but this is also your call to action without directly selling from the stage because most of the time we can't or we don't have the money to do or the time to do it. Right? Download this free training, you give them a link. You could give them a link on a flyer as well. But nowadays, people are using more QR codes. But you can use the old fashioned link if you want. And then, of course, book a strategy call. Same thing. Give them a link, tell them it's a strategy call for 30 minutes, valued at $200, and they can get it for free. So always talk about the value of whatever it is you're giving away for your freebie. Might be free to them, but it's a lot of value for you. And people, the higher the value, the more they're going to go and do it. The higher the value. You could also, the last one, you could do a free class too, like sign up for my free 90-minute webinar or Zoom call or, some sort of training like this. That's real big. I've seen people do that. They take people out of the room, the room they're in, bring them into their room, and then they close them in their room. So you could do that. All of these are two-step closes. None of them are a direct close. None of them are a direct close. The best way you can close a lot of people is getting them in your room. Being with them, loving on them for several hours, even days, and they will, at the end of that, buy from you. The longer they're with you, the higher the price that you can sell. It just is what it is. Unless you're, a magic guy, and some of these sellers out there are pretty charismatic. So, a lot of experience, but most of us can't. But I can guarantee you, you will if you can get them into your own room. All right. So strive for that. And these are all ways that you can do that. Okay. Excellent. All right. And again, be clever. There might be other ways that you think of that'll work. So be clever with that. Okay, now the last one is after. So that's the close, the call to action. And now the last one, number 3, is after the stage. This is where the real money is made after the stage, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure you stay in the room. Don't be in a hurry to leave. Don't be in a hurry to pack up. Once you begin to pack up, it says you're leaving. I know that's what everybody does. I encourage you to not do that. Don't touch your stuff. Don't take down the PowerPoint. Don't start cleaning things up. The minute you do that, you turn your back on your audience or anybody that might be in the room that wants to talk to you. Don't do it. It's only going to be another 30 minutes probably that'll cost you, but you could get so many more clients. Just take your time, be available, walk around. If you have a back of the room, be in the back of the room, be there ready to talk to people. Don't be taken down, your back of the room. I don't care if the people next to you are. You stay steadfast and stay available because guess what? The people will not go and talk to the next door neighbor who's tearing down his booth. They'll come to you because you're sitting there ready. You're standing there, excuse me, not sitting, standing there ready to talk to them. I see it all the time at these events. And I do too. I go and talk to the person that looks like they're going to hang out for a little bit. All right. So make sure you're doing that. Stay after the talk. This is where the deals happen. Start conversations. Don't wait for them. Whether you're in a booth or not in a booth, stand in front of your booth now. Start the conversation. Hey, how'd you like the presentation? What did you like about it? What really touched your heart? Start asking them questions like that. What touched your heart? They'll tell you if you ask them. What touched your heart about the presentation? So start that conversation. And then whether you asked for names, whether you gathered business cards, whether you had them text you, no matter what freebie you gave them, make sure that you follow up between 24 and 48 hours later. So if you do a presentation on Thursday, you need to make sure you block out Friday. That's a mistake people make. They just leave it willy-nilly. Oh, I'll call them. I'll follow up when I have time. But you got full schedules. You've got to schedule it in. You don't have to schedule a whole day. Schedule a morning from 9 until noon or something. But schedule some time for you to follow up. And if you did your job right and your speech right, you will have plenty of names to follow up on. That won't be a problem. And then the last one, when you are following up, make sure you move that person to the next step, whatever it is. So now you're following up. Maybe your next step is to get them on a Zoom call. Maybe you can't close them right then. You need a good block of time, like 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So if you call somebody, say, I'm just following up. I noticed you didn't sign up yet for a strategy call. Would you like one or whatever? If they say, oh, well, let's just talk now, be careful of that because you might get interrupted. And then here you are working up your sales mountain, right? Getting ready to close them and boom, they're interrupted and they have to go. I won't do a Zoom call with anybody that's driving for that reason. They can't send you a credit card. They can't really make a decision. I mean, unless they absolutely have to, and I will, but I don't like doing it. And every time I do, I don't close them. They say, oh, I'll call you later. I'll get interrupted. Okay, well, you know what? Somebody, there's an accident on the road. I'll call you back. I mean, it's like, it never works. So really encourage them to do another time. Okay, I see Jackie's hand up. Jackie?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the QR code if we could. I didn't want to interrupt. So you have a QR code, and what is the QR code for?
Okay. It's for, depending on what you use it for, but like this one, it's to sign up for my calendar.
Okay.
Okay. They get on my calendar. We do a Zoom call. We do a strategy session for them, see what they want, and boom. Or in this case, this call, see, when you get a calendar, and I use Calendly, you can have multiple calendar links. So this one is specifically for the mastermind. So I'm not asking them, oh, what did you want to talk about? No, they go to a specific one and it tells me that it's for the mastermind. So I know exactly already they want to talk about the mastermind as opposed to coaching or something else. So when we go back and you look at all the different ways, like um, scan the QR code could be for the calendar, could be for your 1 day event that I mentioned. You could do a one freebie webinar or even live event now. So you could have different QR codes for different activities that you want. Okay. Book a
Yeah.
strategy session. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it'd probably be a strategy session.
Yeah. Yeah. But nowadays it's funny because years ago, I don't know how many years ago it was, a good 10, 15 QR codes first came out. I don't know if any of you remember, but a few people put them on their business cards, but they didn't go over well. Nobody really used them. They didn't catch on, and it was dropped for years and years. And then, of course, in the last several years, they came back up, and now this is all people are using practically is QR codes. They're free now. Used to be used to have to buy them. But now they're free. There's services that give you free ones. You can make as many as you want. Yeah. So if you need any help with that, let me know. Okay. Does that answer your question, Jackie? Good. Okay, let's get down to the bottom. Let me see.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so we want to move these people to the next step, whatever that next step is for you, whether it's going to be that class, whether it's going to be a call, whether it's going to be, even dripping on them in email if that's all you want to do at the time, because maybe you don't have any. Maybe you don't have any classes or anything coming up, but maybe you promised them that article or you promised them 10 tips. You can put them in your email and then give them the 10 tips and then, keep emailing them until you have something to invite them to. That's perfectly fine. The key here is after you meet them, you want to connect with them as soon as possible within 24 to 48 hours. All right, in some possible way. You could do old-fashioned way too. If they're really a potential client, send them thank you notes if you got their information. It's so easy now to get their information. I don't have business cards. I haven't used them since COVID. But nowadays, when I meet somebody I want to talk to, we do the phone thing, right? Where you push your phones together and their information goes in your phone and your information goes in their phone. Everybody knows what I'm talking about with iPhones. I don't think it happens with Galaxies and stuff and Androids, but right? Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And then I just make a note of it, of who it is, and I take their picture right there. Oh, let me take your picture. Oh, whatever. So I can remember. Then what you can do is send them a quick note, a text, even a little video. Oh, it was great meeting you. That kind of thing. Something. If you have time, it's all about how important is that person to you? How big of a client could it be? Or make it a habit to do it for everybody. It depends on how big your audience is. Are you going to get 50 people coming at you at once or 10? Most of us only get like 10, right? So it's usually pretty manageable. All right. So last thing. Okay, last thing is okay, so now we're all through the close, we're after, we've stayed, we've hung around, we got, and a lot of times when I do sell something, I'll sell something small. I get the sales after almost everybody else leaves because it's me and them, right? And and then I could talk to them on a more personal level, and a lot of times they'll sign up. I mean, because I encourage them. I'll say, oh, we'll talk. And I said, well, then you need to sign up for this. Boom. And I put a form right in front of them, right? So it all depends. Don't be afraid to ask for the order. Never be afraid because your information is valuable and it's going to change their lives. And most of the time they've came to hear you speak. And if they hung around, they're interested. They just need a nudge. They just need encouragement. They just need to know that it's okay, that they can trust you. We've all been ripped off. We've all been taken advantage of. We've all, made mistakes. And most people just don't want to make a mistake again. So we encourage them, hey, they're doing the right thing. They know instinctively that's why they're hanging around, but they just need that little okay from you. Got it? Okay. The last one, thank
Got
you.
it.
Thank you. The last one is positioning. You need to make sure when you're selling from the platform, when you want to do it to leverage the platform, is to speak like a leader, not a lecturer. I said before that if you teach, that ruins sales. We, unless they're in your room and they bought teaching, always exceptions. But if you're on stage trying to leverage, you're in somebody else's stage, somebody else's platform, don't be teaching, don't be lecturing, don't be giving all information. Keep it to the formula of the problem, the pain, the suffering, the possibilities, right? And of course, whatever the four P's I told you earlier, what are they? The positioning, um, the proof, which is your story, which are the testimonials, right? And then the simple path. Okay. So position yourself as a leader and leave them wanting more. If you teach too much, they'll feel like they have it all and they won't need you for any more. Right? So, and I've done that, I've blah, 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 right? So leave them wanting more. And then what's that noise? That's weird, huh? Okay. You want to make sure that you're sounding like a guide, like a coach, and not like Google. You don't want to just give them all that information like Google does. But you're guiding, you're coaching, you're holding their hand. You're doing something that AI can't do. And that is show them the way and be with them every step of the way. You've got them. And that's what they need, right? And always speak about outcomes, what's possible, not just that information, but, paint that picture of what life would be like if they worked with you, what life would be like if they saved money, what life would be like if they had better health, right? What could life be like? Okay, that's it. That's our lesson for today. We ran a little bit over, it looks like. What time is it? Let me see. Oh no, we're right at 5 o'clock. Excellent. Yay. All right. So I know I gave you a lot of information, but are there any questions or anything that we need to talk about before we end our call today? Yes, Tanya.
I just have one question because I know our time is up. But you talk about the problem, the possibility, the proof, and all that. You said, but don't teach. I've always heard you say you need to give them where they feel like they've gotten some meat from your presentation. So, how do you give them 10 tips without giving them all your secrets, or so to speak, with all your training?
Okay, good question. You give them the whys, the W's, I'm sorry, the W's, but not
Okay.
the hows. Okay, so the whys, why they need to do it, right? The benefits are the proof, what it is,
Why they need to save money.
why they need, well, yeah,
Okay.
right? In your case, the whys, the what's, what is it? Where is it? Right? What, where, when is it? Any of the W's you can give and give and give. But the how is where you come in. You're not going to tell them how to save money. You're not going to tell them how to make a financial plan. You're not going to tell them anything of how to do anything. You're just going to say, you need this plan. You need to save money. You need a budget, but you're not going to tell them how to do it or give it to them. That's when they
Do
come
I
in training.
it's telling them one way to because what I want to do is paint a picture of freedom, um freedom,
Right.
okay,
That's the
um and
possibility.
control. So do I tell them something like getting out of debt is one way to start getting freedom and control, or is that the how? Because getting out of debt is the how.
No, the how is how do they get out of debt? You're not going to tell them that's not really a how. Getting
Okay.
out of debt is not a how. Okay. That's something that they need to do. But instead of saying you need to get out of debt and here's what can come, it's the opposite. So instead, you might say something, imagine being debt free, where you could buy anything you wanted, you could go anywhere you wanted, and you didn't have that big cloud of that debt, that's stopping you now from enjoying your life, from being able to go to the store and buy your kids those $500 sneakers. See, that's what you keep painting, but you paint it in a way that what people want, not so up here. A lot of times people talk about millionaires and it's so high up here. I don't care about that big house and that big car. You know what I'm saying? So bring it down to where people are at, you know, s-
Right.
not just sending their kids to college, man. They want to buy their kids those fancy shoes right now today. Can't do it because that's a credit card and that's more debt.
Mhm. Okay.
You know?
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not always about going to a big vacation. It's about a weekend getaway that they can't even afford.
Mhm.
It sounds like RV, we have some teaching for you to do next week when we talk
Yeah, you
about
should.
content, because I'm
Okay.
with Tanya. I'm still a little bit confused.
Okay. We'll break down the content then. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be
Sounds
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
welcome. Well,
Thank you.
hello, Katrina.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So that's what we'll do. We'll do more about content next week and put this concept into content. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ladies. Great being with you today.
Thank you. It was
Okay.
really good.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank
time.
you,
Thank you.
Arvee. Great to see everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.